introduced so far in the last 3 sessions, where basically we went through, sharing some tools like the lean canvas and the value proposition canvas that can help you as wannabe entrepreneurs in giving a consistency about your business. So understanding how to properly set up the right strategies, creating values for the customers in order for producing a product or a service that stick to the market needs. Then in the last meeting, in the third session, we went through how you should approach a fundraising strategy, because this is an art through that at a certain point of your lifetime, if you are creating a high growth business that it's growing very fast and needs quite investments to run faster, then of course you need to look around yourself and ask how you can raise money for fuel your car, the company. And we present how to approach investors, especially risk capital investors. And today we are concluding this, let's say, academy with how you should enter in the first gate for approaching investors, the pitch. So just give me a sec to share I have no power to share, Nora. So maybe if you can give me the power for sharing, because
Sorry, I do it now.
Okay, not a problem. So as I was saying, we are concluding this for the pitch. I don't know how many of you already, are experienced in pitching. So maybe before starting, I would like, because Nora told me that at least 3 of you expressed their interest in pitching today. So in giving a very quick revision of the pitch. So I hope that in the participants there are these 3 people. And please, if you would like to test your pitch in the last part of the session, write in the chat, okay? So we can have a count on how many. So Nora told me that 3 expressed their interest, so for the moment 3. But if there are other people, please write in the chat so we know how much time we need to dedicate, okay? So the idea of the last part of the session is basically giving you the floor to present your pitch. So if you prepared a couple of slides, and then I will try to support you in in guiding and drafting how to improve the series of slides, okay? But before going in this interactive part, I would like to present you in the first part of the session how to draft the pitch, so that all of you, once you're coming, back to your desk, you will be able to draft the pitch deck, okay? This is the idea.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Well, yes, for the moment in the participants, we only have 1 of the volunteers.
Okay.
So let's hope that the other 2 are going to join later on.
Okay.
During your presentation. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so I will now put in a full mode. As always, please write in the chat a question or raise your hand and unmute yourself if you would like to ask whatever kind of questions you have in mind, so don't be shy. Okay, the content of today. So 3 main points. So what is a pitch and what is important? The main goal and the main goals of the pitching, and then which are the main elements that you need to deal with when you need to prepare your perfect pitch for succeeding with investors. So this is the definition of pitching, as you can read from the slide. So basically the definition have 2 main elements. So it is a presentation. I think that for most of you could be clear, but 2 elements are very important. The short time that you need to run your presentation, take into consideration that usually if you will participate, or if you participate already in some pitch sessions, the time is between 3 and 5 minutes. sometimes even 1 minute. So very short time. And what is important is that you need to present and convince the people who is listening. This is a very important element. So it's not just a simple presentation of some results or tell your story and whatever. It's a way that you need to convince those who are listening. We will see which kind of trying to convince on what, but this is, very important to understand the very short time, and you need to convince who is listening. Okay? So the main goal, when especially we are in this context, because we were coming from the previous session where, okay, we realized that we need money. We are interested in discussing because we understand properly which are the rules of engaging with risk capital investors. So we are going to interact with them. The first gate for interacting with them is a pitch, where basically, again, you need to convince them that your business opportunity is the best one that they can invest in. So the goal in this very short time, 3-5 minutes, is not raising money, because after you are presenting in this pitch session, it's impossible that you will have the people coming, with money and giving your hands. It's pretty impossible. You need to attract interest from them. And this is linked to the fact that you need to convince them that your business initiative, your startup, is the best one in the market that they can invest in. Okay? And you need to attract their interest. After the session, you need to have people, investors in the audience, writing you back email if this is online, or a physical session, that are coming back to you and say, oh, very interesting product solution. I would like to have a deep call with you in the next weeks. Is it possible for you to organize a call? This is your goal. Having another moment with investors to go deeply inside your business opportunity. Why? Because again, in 3-5 minutes, you can tell, it's impossible that you will tell all the story behind your startup. It's impossible that you can tell everything. So that's why we will see, it's like when you're climbing in a rope and you need to find the right balance for getting from point A to point B, and basically behind the rope there is nothing. So it's very important in this pitch session, you're balancing this, all the information that are useful for attracting the interest of investors. Okay, so this is a crucial point, because again, in a lot of pitches that we participated, especially if you are the CEO and you are also, let's say, the one that it's behind the idea of the solution or the technology, a lot of time you are focused on your technology, on your solution. It's an important piece of the pitch, but it's not the main actor, the solution, the technology. So do not be technology oriented when you're presenting your presentation, the pitch, but you need to present your business opportunity. We will see this, but this is one of the main, let's say, pitfall that we, are always trying to avoid when we are supporting startups and, researchers that are keen to take their solution to the market. Okay, so attract interest, raising interest, not taking the money, because for taking the money, it will pass minimum 5-6 months before you are taking, the check from the investors. So in a short time, you are, these are different kind of situations, different kind of, let's say, documents, tools that you need to have for different moments with investors. So we are in the elevator pitch, in the column of the elevator pitch. So a short summary of your business opportunity, 3-5 minutes, okay? You need to attract interest, not closing. Then you have, of course, other documents that you need to prepare. You need to prepare an executive summary, 1-3 pages of, your startup. And again, this must attract interest, but this is a document that you will share by email. Again, if you are in a position where you're fundraising and you are going to contact an investors, for example, by email, you can link, attach your executive summary. Again, the elevator pitch that we are going to see today, it's a presentation that also must leverage the graphics, the emotions of this listening, okay? Because it's something that is supporting you presenting. Vice versa, executive summary, it's something more written that I will receive by email, and you need, again, here to present your business opportunity, but again, by email. Then you have the business plan, which is a very important document, which will enter into the field when, for example, after the elevator pitch, after the executive summary sharing by mail, investor will say, hey, very interesting, your technology, your startup. Can you please tell me more? Can we have another meeting? Then maybe after this meeting, also the second one, investors will ask you, can you please share also the business plan for the next 3-5 years? And in that moment, you need to have also the business plan, okay? Which is a more consistent document. Again, now, this is more in a very detailed part of the, let's say, investment readiness, which is the due diligence. But in this kind of moment, after the pitch, where basically you open the gate for your investors, you need to have also the document. And one of these kind of documents is a business plan, okay? And this is something where you are showing that you have a clear strategy, a clear plan for executing your strategy for the next 3-5 years. Different documents for different situations. The situation of today is the elevator pitch, but do not underestimate the others, okay? It's very important that you have all these tools under your radar, updated, especially if you are in fundraising. A lot of time, again, this is a rule of thumb, but that when we are interested in a startup and we ask for documents, and if we receive documents that are updated 6 months, 7 months ago, this is the first red flag for me. Because, if you're fundraising, you need to be 100% focused on the fundraising. You need to show me updated documents, strategies, because a lot of time, if I spend my time looking at documents that are 6 months ago, then I cannot know, especially, which are your updated strategies. So it's very important that, again, when you're in fundraising that we presented last session, it's important that you have all the documents updated. So which are the key elements that you need to use for attracting interest? First point is a sound proposition, not an invention. This was something I mentioned already in the first part of today. So do not present a solution or a product or a technology. You are not selling a technology. You are selling the opportunity to join a very important business opportunity for investors, okay? They are not buying your technology. They are joining, especially these capital investors, the venture of executing your business. And then you need to present a business opportunity. So if you have 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and you're spending 3 minutes to explain your technology, you are failing. You will not succeed. Then, entrepreneurial attitude. This means that if you have a background of researcher, avoid to start graphs, tables, figures. Again, investors will be a shareholder, will be someone that will support you in the execution of your business. And then they would like to see an entrepreneur when you are presenting a startup. So a big suggestion is, do not be like a researcher presenting a paper to a scientific community. A lot of time we see this, and if this approach, you're failing. Then another key element is the team. Present the team, show that this group of people will be the right one in executing this business plan, the year strategy. The team, it's the only asset, or one of the few assets, that investors will invest in. If you are a startup that it's incorporated in the last 3 months, maybe you have neither the patent owned for your technology. So when an investor is investing in your company, basically the company is empty. There is nothing inside the company. So the big value when they're investing, it's not only the idea, but it's the capability of the team to execute the business opportunity for making the idea something real, because otherwise it's something written. So do not present just yourself. 2 people, it's not a team. If you are 2, try always when you're presenting the team to say, we are looking also, at the moment we're gaps in terms of expertise, and we are looking to profiles, because this shows that you understand that you need another person, more people. Of course, if you are 3 or more, present the team, the core team, showing that there are synergies. Maybe you worked in the past together, that maybe somebody in the team has experience in startup and they succeed maybe in exiting and create value in the past. If you show these kind of things, then again, you are better succeeding. Then, last but not least, call for action. Clearly present what you need. So you're spending your time to scout for pitch sessions, for preparing the pitch. A lot of time we see, okay, all the flow of information, it's nice, but at a certain point, they are closing without clarifying how much money the startup is looking for. It's crucial because it concludes clearly the reason why you're there, and avoid to say, okay, we're looking 1 million and 3 million. Well, 1 million is 1 million, 3 million, it's 3 millions, and there is a big difference. And from my perspective as investors, if you're saying this, it's because you don't know where you would like to go. Because if you know where you would like to go, if you know that you need to take the car for 100 kilometers, you need 3 liters of gasoline. If you need to run 300 kilometers, you need more maybe. But if you say the same in the startup, 3 million, don't have any idea, maybe. So if you have 3-5 minutes and you need to convince me, you're not convincing me, okay? So these points are crucial. Please, if you have questions, doubts, always write in the chat, because these are pretty important. Well, what things you need to avoid? Again, these are very linked to what we already discussed in the previous slide. Research project mindset. A lot of time, some technology is coming from European research project, and people, it's always listing this in the slides. It's referring to the consortium partners. You're not presenting, you're not disseminating the results from a European project. You are presenting a business opportunity. If you're using that approach, as we discussed before, you're failing. Lack of clarity. It's not clear for me where would I like to go next. And again, this is a big pitfall. You need to show me that you are an entrepreneur, and you have a plan, and you have the right team to execute that plan. But if this is not clear, again, from the first interaction, 3-5 minutes, I'm not convinced, and they're not coming back to you. Then, of course, confidence. A lot of time, sometimes when the presenter his attitude is not, let's say, confident in what he's saying or she's saying. And I think that especially in 3-5 minutes that I've never met this person, you need to show that you have passion, that you are enthusiasm around this opportunity. And also this kind of attitude is crucial. Because if you Google examples of pitches and you look at 10, 15 pitches, you will see immediately the difference between a presenter which is enthusiastic, passionate, and another one that it seems that is forced to do that. And in 3-5 minutes, I think it's a rule of thumb that we have in our life. If you see somebody that it's not is boring, it's you have not the attitude to link with that person. The same with the pitches, okay? It's crucial. Attitude. Be confident. Be passionate. Because otherwise, again, in 3-5 minutes, remember, this is important, because remember that you have other thousands of business opportunities that I can invest in as investors. You are one of the many, okay? And if I need in a pitch session to compare the pitches, because at the end of the day, I don't have money to invest in all the pitches that I will listen to. I need to pick up the ones that impressed me. It's important, this attitude of being, confident, positive. Because otherwise, if at the same level of technology, the same level of team, business opportunity, but one person was confident, positive, enthusiasm, the other one was not, I will pick up the other one that was positive. Maybe then it's a mistake, because then I realized that moving forward, it's not good as I perceived, but for you to succeed and like interest, it's crucial, this attitude. So the question is, why is a presentation of 3-5 minutes so difficult? We are just speaking about 3-5 minutes. Remember that, and do not that a good pitch is an asset for you, especially when you're fundraising. Do not underestimate this, because if you think that, okay, my technology it's enough for attract, this is not. So a good pitch, a good presentation, it's crucial. So hints, so some, let's say, suggestions for you for pitching your solution, your business opportunity to the investors. So these are, let's say, the main pillars that you need to take into consideration when preparing a pitch. First of all, the message, the flow of information, it's crucial. Structure, so how you need to prepare the slides, and then last but not, and of course, the speech. So the message. So again, when you need to write and to start to think of the message that you need to pass to investors, again, this is something that it's not, let's say, physics or mathematics. It's something very easy. Okay, so keep it as simple as possible. Also, when approaching this, writing the right message in a pitch. So, kind of things that we learned at elementary. You have an introduction, then you pass through a key content, and then you conclude. We will see how these pieces of, in the message will be, let's say, filled through the slides. But this is the same, very simple as, we were in the elementary school. Introduce. In the introduction, you raise interest, you link with the audience. Then all the main flow of information that it's crucial for investors to evaluate properly your business opportunity and then conclude. When you're concluding, we will see this, you need to activate your audience somehow. So you are there spending 3-5 minutes of your time for which reason? So again, introduce, key content, conclusion, okay? Nothing, let's say, complex. So what is important when you start to draft your pitch is ask yourself, why I'm preparing this presentation? I imagine as an entrepreneur that maybe you will present to different audiences. Today, again, we are focusing on a specific situation, pitching to risk capital investors. But you may pitch also for other kind of stakeholders, customers. So if you are going to present your solution, your product, service to early adopters, maybe you are using a presentation. And in that case, it's a different context. It's a different situation. You have different goals for presenting to early adopters. Or maybe you are presenting to a potential partner, commercial partner. But again, this is another situation. You will use a series of slides for a different purpose. Why I'm telling you this? Because a lot of time, it seems that you are using one presentation for all the stakeholders. And this is wrong, because if you are presenting to risk capital investors, you need to ask yourself, why I'm presenting to risk capital investors? Because we need money for growing. Why I'm presenting to adopters? Because maybe I would like that they are adopting, are buying my solution. Why I'm presenting to commercial partner? Because I would like to conclude agreement with them for having commercial partner. Different reasons, different stakeholders that need different information, different level of information. Because otherwise, if you're using one presentation for everybody, then maybe you will not succeed. You will see that, okay, we are presenting hundreds of times, but nobody come back. Again, it's important that you said, okay, we are presenting today because we would like to raise interest from investors for having them on board for our fundraising. This is a clear objective, and then you adapt your presentation for this context. So always ask this when you are preparing a PowerPoint, because otherwise, if you're just putting slides information without having a clue of which is your goal, it's wrong. Then, what are you looking for? You need to conclude. This is linked to the goal of the previous slide. You need to present which is the support that you're asking from the audience. Again, investors, how much money? For what? If you're looking for, partnership, you need to present that, okay, we need for commercial partner that can open the market for the United States. If you are presenting to customers, we are looking for customers that will adopt our beta version. Again, always conclude and present the support, the kind of things that you need from the audience. Then, of course, it's important that you need the audience. You need to know the audience. Why? Because, again, as an entrepreneur, maybe you will be invited to pitch sessions. Nowadays, there are thousands of pitch sessions every day, organized by different kind of stakeholders. And maybe you can be invited to join some different session. But it's important, especially in the context of risk capital investors, that before accepting, before going and say, okay, yes, I will pitch, you need to understand who is in the audience. Why? Because risk capital investors, as we see last time, there is not just one type of risk capital investors. You may have tons of different kind of risk capital investors. Why? Maybe they're investing in different sectors. If you are invited, I don't know, for a pitch session and you are not fitting the circular economy, why you should be there? It's very important, this point. So who are these investors? Are these investors aligned with my profile? Yes, okay. But again, otherwise, there is no fit between your profile and the investors in the audience. Okay, this is very crucial. Also, understand who is in the audience. Remember then, that we also stress this point that all the money is not the same, meaning that depending on the investors giving you the money, they have different expectations, they have different requirements to be engaged, different evaluation criteria. We say this because, again, in a pitch session for risk capital investors, we tried to explain in the previous session which were the criteria they were looking for. They're looking for profit. Risk capital investors are investing in your startup profit. After, on average, 5-6 years, they join your startup. But again, if you are presenting a pitch for other kind of investors, or as in Europe, then there are other kind of things that are relevant, not only showing, for example, for risk capital investors, that you are able to have a big growth in terms of sales in the next 5 years, which is the requirement that investors are looking for having a big profit. But for example, if you are presenting a series of slides for a call for proposal in Europe, maybe you need to point the accent to the impact, which is environmental impact. You need to show societal impact, economical impact, and these kind of things. It's crucial then that you understand the expectations of these investors in the audience. And depending who they are, you adjust a little bit also the flow of information. Then structure. So how you should organize your pitch, the flow of information, and make it clear. So here there is, a sort of so which are the main points when you're, again, starting to draft the slides? There is this fundraising. With this fundraising, you would like to go for the United States, open a branch in the United States and whatever, and you're asking just for $500,000, maybe you're underestimating it. So it's very important also this kind of level of that you need to convince this kind of audience in this perspective. Then we will see in a few seconds the structure of slides. What is important is the visual story and the delivery. The flow of information that we will see this in some minutes, it's important, but in a live presentation, what is more important is the delivery of the pitch. This was the point that I presented you before. Investors don't know you when you're presenting. Maybe it's the first time they're meeting you. So what they would like to see: passion, enthusiasm, that you are confident, and that you exercise yourself in preparing that pitch. Why? Another rule of thumb that I would like to share with you is that when usually you are invited for a pitch session, you are invited 1 month before. And you're receiving an email saying, okay, you are selected for this pitch session. Please, these are the rules. Prepare these slides for a 3-minute speech. You know in advance that you have 3 minutes, 1 month before. Especially when you are going in the live session and you're going out of time, and then the moderator will catch you, because of course they need to have other maybe 30 pitches. As a rule of thumb, as investors, somebody's asking how I can trust this guy that is not able to deliver in 3 minutes a pitch that maybe was information known 1 month before. I can trust this when it comes to execute a business opportunity, to find customers, to interact with investors, to interact with other stakeholders. So if this kind of task, again, which do not underestimate, but which is, let's say, simpler than maybe finding customers, creating a new Amazon, how making this kind of comparison, I can trust this person. So a big suggestion, ability to deliver. Train yourself. Do not underestimate this. It's completely different rather than presenting a paper if you're a researcher. Do not be overconfident, meaning, okay, I'm the CEO, I know very well how to present my startup and do this in 3 minutes. Trust me, because if you are not preparing properly, you are not going to do that. When you're studying your pitch, 3 minutes or 5 minutes, this is, something standard, which is crucial, are the first 30 seconds. Why are they crucial? Because if you stick with the audience, with the expectations of the audience, if you raise the interest with a great intro, then people will stick with your speech till the end of the session. Otherwise, if in the first 30 seconds you start slow and you did not point out the right level of information, maybe there is the risk that people is not listening to you anymore. Remember, your goal is to attract interest, and if you have somebody not listening to you after 30 seconds, maybe you will not get your goal. Which are, the main flow of information that you need to pass through, but we will see this later. The problem you're going to solve. Again, this is something always based on the lean approach. But if you would like to link with investors immediately, is presenting that you are solving a problem or problems that are so relevant that behind there is a big potential market. Unique value proposition, another crucial point to pass through. How much you are better than the actual solution in the market. Showing this, you are taking the investors saying, okay, if they can solve this big opportunity, the problems, much better than what is in the market, maybe it is a good business opportunity to investigate. Then team. Is the team the right group of people to execute this business plan? It's crucial. Again, if you are in an early stage, in a pre-seed stage, the only thing you have is your plan and the team. And the team is the main asset capable to execute the plan. So present the team and show the synergy, as I said before, how much time you're working together, the main results that you achieved as technology officer, as CEO, show that you already succeeded in the past. Then it's important to activate your audience, the investors, showing how much money you're looking for. So, especially in a live session, physical session, it's a little bit less true by online session where basically, maybe there is another level of attention, but imagine you are again in a pitch session, physical session, then an effective communication, it's not based on the flow of information, which is always counting for a minor percentage, but it's about how you are communicating it and your body language. As you can see, almost 90% of this, it's based on, let's say, your attitude and the message of your body. Then, of course, the flow of information is quite crucial. But remember, today, 2023, all entrepreneurs can Google and, write information on pitches, take a standard flow of information. So 9 pitches out of 10 on average have the same flow of information, which is the one relevant for investors. What's make the difference is the presenter. Again, this is a point linked to the fact do not underestimate the preparation of the pitch, because it's yourself making the difference, not the information. Which are, let's say, some key elements to take into consideration when looking at the attitude, the body language, the voice. When you are presenting, be sure, especially in the online session, that you have proper headset. I was in a pitch session some weeks ago. A presenter did not have a good, let's say, level of sound, and it was not able to properly be listened by the audience. So avoid this, prepare in advance, be sure that your voice is clear, and also in case the background noise, it's not relevant, okay? Especially in the online session. Then, of course, if you have physical space, it's important that maybe when you are going in the space, in the room, go there a little bit in advance to understand how big is the stage or whatever. Avoid to walk, especially if there is a screen backing you. Avoid to walk and give the back to the audience. So try to find a space that, can help you in helping the others to see the screen, but also you to maybe to take a look at the laptop, and always never give the back to the audience, okay? Quite a lot of time we see people that it's always turning the head to the presentation like they are not sure about what is next. You need to know perfectly, which is in the flow of information is the flow of slides. If you're always turning back and you're pausing, looking at what is written in the slides, it's, again, a rule of thumb to say you are not prepared, okay? And this is very important. Then eye touch, especially, when we are online now, the first, let's say, moment of when these, online sessions, let's say, boomed, it was COVID period. A lot of times we see people that was reading, there was a paper in the desk, and they were looking like this, always, never coming back and looking at the camera, looking at the people. So again, it's small tips that are making the difference, okay? Okay, I think there is a question now, okay. Abdul, is there different impact of presenting a pitch line and face-to-face? Well, yes, there is difference. Well, now, I think in the start, the difference was bigger, especially when this kind of online session were organized due to COVID. Now that people, it's quite used to have this online, the difference is not so big. But again, I think live session, physical session are preferred by investors, because then you can make network. This is the big difference. So you can reach better investors maybe ask for feedback after the session. While online, after you have your space in 3-5 minutes, then you are not you have maybe space for question, but then what is happening, the session is closed, and then maybe some investors coming back to you. But this kind of networking, the physical presence, it's, I think, I would say if you need to choose live session, it's better. If you can join a live session, it's better. Of course, as I said, now the online sessions boomed, and as I said, the investors are acquainted to run these online sessions. Okay, so I hope that Abdullah clarified your point. Okay, so again, you're not presenting a European project, but you're presenting a business opportunity. Avoid slow start. Again, 3 seconds, but I say 30 seconds are crucial. Point attention on key things. We will see this in a moment. Do not speak too fast. Again, this is another point. A lot of time we see people that want to put in the pitch everything. Remember, we have 3-5 minutes and some information will be out. But people would like to put everything. And so they start to speak very fastly to cover everything. Again, this is not a good, let's say, strategy. Short and clear sentences. It's pretty important that always try to use very simple sentences that are clarifying everything, your concept. Pauses. Quite a lot of time, again, this is linked to the fact that if you're speaking too fast, you are not able to put the accent to the relevant information. Again, pauses are very helpful in this. Then talk to the audience, never give your back, respect time. Again, this last point that I mentioned before. If you're not able to prepare yourself for 3 minutes of presentation and close it properly, how I can trust you when it comes to difficult moments in your business that you need to deal with investors, with banks and whatever. So just to give you a very quick outlook about the fact that pitching, it's difficult, even if it's 3-5 minutes. But why it's difficult? Because there are 2 different point of views. Yourself, the presenter, you think that you have the best startup, the best idea, the best technology, and you're focused on presenting this technology sometimes. And you are forgetting all the other things. And your claim, it's always, oh, there are not so many investors that would like to finance my solution. But you are claiming because, again, you are not respecting the expectations of the audience. On the other side, the audience look at you as one of the many startups they can invest in. They do not care so much about the technology. What they care is the money that you can get back to them, the impact in terms of profit that you can achieve. So their claims is, okay, all these startups are focused on technologies and they're not caring about the business. So 2 different point of views. You as presenter, if you are moving smart, you are trying to set all these audiences and especially these capital investors' expectations. So just to, I don't know, Nora, how many people we have for the pitch part. So maybe I don't know, Nora, if, okay.
Yeah, here I am. Sorry,
okay.
I lost my connection for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, for the moment we have Abdul, if I'm not wrong, was proposing himself for the pitch. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know if there is some brave participants.
Okay, but it's not a problem. So yeah. Okay, so at the moment we have 1, but we can take maybe other 5 minutes to cover the structure of the slide. What is a pitch? Basically, again, it's a presentation, a storytelling, because you need to tell the story of your business. What you achieved, but also where would you have to go, okay? So it's like telling a story. So the question is, what's your story in terms, of your business? Again, first point, why you're preaching, which are your goal. I'm looking for money. I need to raise 1 million from risk capital investors. You have a couple of minutes to go through different level of information. So this is an example of which different level of information you would like to tell in 3-5 minutes. The team, if you have a plan in technology, your technology, meaning that how it works, what did you achieve, track record, how you're making money from customers, which are the expectations in terms of finance, so how many profits you will generate in the next 3-5 years, which are the main challenges you are facing. So as you see, different level of information that you can tell as a storytelling for your business. But the problem is that you have 3-5 minutes. I would like to give you this example so you are fixing maybe this clearly in your mind. When you're pitching, you are running the 100 meters. It's a specific time frame in which you must be explosive. You need to be explosive to raise interest. You're not raising the marathon where maybe you can take the pace slowly, but be explosive. So let's say the pitch is 100 meters, the fundraising, it's the marathon, okay? But in this specific context, when you're presented to this capital investor in 3-5 minutes, you're running 100 meters, okay? So be explosive. Avoid slow starts. Avoid yourself to not be confident, to not be positive. So you are competing with the others. In the pitch sessions, there are other 30, 40 startups. Outside, there are thousands, okay? You need to stand out. So running 100 meters, be explosive. Your goal, just, always to link with the main goal we discussed at the start, is to make an impression. So this is just an example of how people can be impressed. At the end of the pitch, your goal is that investors will be like this child, meaning that they are astonished about how interest there is for your startup. And then they need to come back and say, I want to know more about your startup. This is your goal, okay? So this is, again, an example to say that, there was Churchill in the Second World War that was able in 45 minutes to encourage a country to keep fighting in 45 minutes. So why you should not be able to raise money in 35 minutes, or at least to raise interest from investors? So it's not easy, but you need always to keep training yourself and prepare, because if you are prepared, you can succeed and make a very relevant impact for your startup. Again, verbal versus visual communication. A lot of time you're using figures for the technology, you're using graphs, you're using quite a lot of detail in the slides. Remember, if online or physical session you are presenting your slides, these slides are supporting your speech. This means that people must listen. Of course, if you are able to find the right balance and use graphics to emphasize what you're saying, is the right way. But if you're using the slides to just present a paper, because a lot of times there is like font 10 in the slides with full of text, what's happening is that people will read. People, it's reading, it's not listening, and you're losing them, okay? So put more emphasis on visual communication. High level. This means that in 3-5 minutes, you have not the possibility to draw in details. It's impossible. Because if you start to draw in details, for example, for presenting the technology, then you will just present the technology. If you draw in details for the market, you're presenting just the market. 3-5 minutes, it's a very, very tough exercise of balancing, okay? So keep always all the flow of information high level. Why? Because you need to raise interest, and the information will be exposed in the one-to-one session after the pitch session. So it's important that who is listening is receiving clearly all the message. It's important that there is a rapid transfer of information and a clear transfer of information. High level, clear message, and this is something sufficient for generate interest. Because if you start also to present in detail and not clear information, then this is right, let's say, recipe for not succeeding. Always key messages, especially in the slides. As I said before, verbal communication is not succeeding in this kind of situation. So try always to keep one key message in the slide, not more. So constraints that you need to face: complexity, because again, it's not easy to present in a short time frame, the time frame which is again very, very short, and then the fact that you would like to present all your story of your business, which is impossible in 5 minutes. So you need to also to understand how to find the right balance. So a presentation is more than a simple series of slides. So do not think at the pitch as putting some information on the slides and that's it. As we saw so far, it's a matter of exercising, preparing, taking care about how you are having the body language in the stage, how you are presenting the speech, the right messages, how you're using the right graphics in the slides. So do not think at a sum of slides. It's more. So do not come up flat. This means that when you are guiding investors in the pitch, you need to think as entertaining them as in the roller coaster. So you need to take them some moments faster, certain moments you need to slow the speed to put more emphasis, but always to keep the mood increasing that they need to know more about your startup. And how they need to know more about your startup, they will come back to you saying, okay, have a meeting in the next weeks. So how you are facing the constraints, complexity, quantity of information, put the right information at high level. Time constraints, simple messages that are rapid transferred. And then for achieving your impact, you need to not come up flat, meaning that think at a way to entertain the investors with a speech. So which are the main slides? Just to quickly close and show you the structure of information. Again, these are pretty standard, let's say, flow of information that you will find and maybe you already listened to, and it's 90% accepted by all the risk capital investors. Usually there is a first slide, introduction slide, which is getting the investors to understand which is your startup doing. It's a sort of elevator pitch, because this slide, basically investors can understand your startup. This is a Airbnb example, one of the elevator pitch slide. So they were starting as a first slide saying, okay, Airbnb giving the room of a house and saying book rooms with locals rather than hotels. Very simple. So graphics, headline, logo, no more. but it's clear. Okay, so you are entering immediately in the mood of what they are doing. The problem. The bigger the pain, the better, meaning you need to show that this kind of problem or problems for the customers, for your customers, are relevant. And behind this problem, there is a big market. Okay, so clearly stated to the problems. The problem, we saw this approach of the lean canvas in the first session. It's crucial because it helps investors perceiving that specific problems, if solved properly with the right solution, can worth a lot of money. So problem always come before the solution. Okay, again, if you're solving a problem, okay, you're solving this problem of productivity or the speed, accuracy of data, we are selling a software, you need always to start saying, for example, do you know that on average there is a lack of productivity in big corporates of 30% due to the lack of accuracy of data? So some statistics, some from the ground data that's showing that this problem or problems are relevant, always before the solution. Then, of course, you can present your solution. So how we would like to fix this problem? Simple. Put a sort of screenshot of your solution, if you have it. A platform, put the screenshot of the platform. If it is a device, put the screenshot of the device. And no more. So we're solving this problem with a platform based on artificial intelligence or whatever. So the screenshot, it's enough. If you have a demo, of course, devices are working better in this case, especially in the physical sessions. You can take with you the device and then give the investors, the audience, and then they can start to see and touch. Investors like this when, you know, especially you have another company that are, you know, having a device. But otherwise, a screenshot is enough. So you don't need to present me all the research and development behind the technology, showing me how you arrived to this, data, statistics. The screenshot, it's enough. Value proposition. We discussed about a value proposition in the previous, let's say, sessions. It's important that you're addressing in the value propositions the problems you discussed in the first slide. You're addressing the problem of, again, accuracy. Then you need to say we are 30% more accurate than what's in the market now. It's a matter of performance. We are more performant than the others. Values, addressing the problems. And then, this is a slide that we already presented. Value proposition, just focus on the values that are important for your customers, which are not able to be delivered by the others, the competitors. Where you are, let's say, position yourself in a way, in a unique way, then it's solving better the problems of your customers. Market size. So we know that we can do this better than the others, but which is the market size behind this problem or problems? Again, you can use both a bottom-up or top-down approach. Okay. You can say, okay, the market is worth 3 billion, 4 billion worldwide. In the European market, it's worth, I don't know, $500 million. And especially if you're studying, I don't know, in Italy or in whatever country, you can say, okay, our first market, it's Italy, that it's worth this amount of money. Otherwise, bottom up, which means that you're showing that, okay, in the world, there are, I don't know, hundreds of SMEs, hundreds of thousands of SMEs. On average, these hundreds of SMEs are spending 1,000 euro each year for solving the problem of productivity. So multiplying this, we can expect to have this kind of available market. It's up to you, I would like to prefer, but it's always important to present the dimension. Competition. Avoid to say we are the only one solving these problems, please. Because, if somebody is suffering from a problem, this group of customers are using alternative solutions, which is your competitors. So if you say we have no competitors, again, red flag, okay? Present your competitors. Try to present this with a matrix, with the quadrant, and show how you are better in position to your competitors, especially to the values that are crucial for your unique value propositions, okay? So if your value proposition is based on performance and accuracy, show how, compared to the competitors, you are positioning better. Business model. How you are making money. It's important you also describe your revenue sources. So Airbnb, for example, was saying in the description of the business model, we are charging a fee to the housekeepers. Simple. So all the times the housekeepers were having a booking, they were charging 2% of the fee on the top of the price. Try to be very simple here. So saying, okay, we are a software as a service charging, 30 euro each month. Simple. This is an example how you can present from a telephone company the flow of money or whatever. Okay. Go to market. How you're reaching your customers. Okay. So for reaching our customers, we are using key opinion leaders. We are using distributors, whatever kind of things you are using. Again, this is part of the channels box in the link canvas that we saw at the start. Team. We suggest to put the team at the end or in the tail. You will find maybe others that are suggesting to put at the start. We like at the tail. Why? Because once you present us what you would like to do and how you would like to do it, then it's simpler to assess if the team is the right one to execute the plan. Otherwise, if you put at the start when you didn't present nothing, then it's difficult to remember if the team could be proper or not. So team, just present again how many, depending on how many you are, but if you are at least a startup, maybe you will be the core team, 2, 3, 4 people. Put the names of the co-founders. Always flag that they're fully committed. It is another yellow red flag. If you're saying, 50% of the time we're devoting in our startups, 50% of the time we are working as an employee or researcher. If you're presenting a business opportunity, you need to show me that you are full committed or you would be fully committed. Because if you are not believing yourself in your startup, why need to believe? So then present all the main relevant experiences. And if you succeeded in the past as entrepreneur, so if this is your second startup and you succeeded in the previous one, present this, okay? Which could be very relevant. Traction, if you may have any kind of traction, these are the main relevant metrics that you need to show for de-risking the perspective from investors. You are early stage, you are not having revenues, it's clear, but maybe you already talk with the customers, so you can say, after one interaction focus group with our customers, realize that 70% of the customers that tried our MVP, 70% of them would like to buy it when it comes to the beta version. It shows that you are running your plan and you are succeeding in doing this, okay? So, of course, revenues is the best way to present to the investors that we are doing the things correctly. But if you're not in the revenue stage, you can present something else. Letter of interest, focus group with early adopters. Roadmap, where you would like to go. So which will be the next main milestones that you would like to achieve in the next 1 year, for example. And this roadmap must be coherent with the call for action slides that we'll see in a moment. financials. If you would like to present financials, if you have forecast, try to present in a simple way, just revenues and cost, and when you will reach, if you will reach it in the next 3-5 years, the break-even, when the revenues will be higher than the cost. No more. You don't need to present the accounting data with all the details, cost, revenues, no more. Call for action, how much money you're looking for what? Again, when you're saying for what, you need to say for marketing, for doing this and that, because with this money, we would like to achieve these milestones. And these milestones must be the same that you present in the roadmap. Okay? So 5 minutes presentation, up to 30 slides. This could be your structure. Okay? Feel free, to change the order. This is just a suggestion based on the experience. So now, before closing, don't miss the practice, which is crucial again. I hope that after this session today, you understand that even if it is 5 minutes presentation, 13 slides, it's something that you need to prepare carefully. Okay? Examples that you can take a look at after the session, especially, the left side example. It's, I don't know if you know, Dragon's Den as format. Business angels from UK listening to startups. These two guys, in 3 minutes, without slides, they convinced the investors to put the money. It's TV show, of course, take it as it is, but take a look, 3 minutes. And that's it.